think it's like at least important for me to make sure it's not like gimmicky either. Like a few years ago, like the people weren't ready for a brown artist to not make Bollywood music. Had like a lot of like label meetings where it's like, oh, well, if you know, play on this a bit more, like you can capture this audience, and like it's almost like funny.
Yeah.
Like, okay. And then you're like, bye, see you never.
Hey those, my name is Rajit Salim. I'm the host, and today I am here with an amazing singer, Samica.
Hi.
Awesome. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Very excited to be here.
Yes, I'm excited to have you. So you're from or you live in LA right now, right?
I live in LA, yeah, but I'm from the Bay.
Mm-hmm.
And then I moved here like 6 years ago now. So
Okay.
I'm in it.
And how long have you been in music for?
I've done music like my whole life, really. But like I've been actively like doing it, like writing and stuff since high school. So
Oh wow.
Time.
What was the moment where like I want to be a singer?
I think I grew up like my nanny is an amazing singer. My sister is an amazing singer.
Mm-hmm.
My mom was like a classical Kathak dancer, so I like really grew up with like music in my family.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, it's funny that I ended up being the one in the family to be like, I want to do like artsy thing because I was so shy. And but yeah, like since I was a kid, really, it took me a while to be like, I'm actually gonna do it.
Wow.
But when I got there, it was great. So.
And so you started writing when you were 16 years old, or did you actually drop music at that time too?
Yeah, no, I started writing when I was like 14. I wrote like a horrible song.
Yeah.
I think I have like the paper somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I just never stopped. It was like the best.
But you're in a very musical home growing up.
Yeah, totally.
What was that like?
It was fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I was really lucky enough to like learn guitar, piano, growing up. And yeah, I was always like encouraged to be singing. And even when I went into high school, like I joined choir. All my friends were choir kids. Like, so it was good. It was always like around for sure.
Yeah.
At least I like made it around for sure.
Were you a theater kid too?
No, I wasn't. But I did do musicals, but I didn't like do like we had a theater class.
Yeah.
I didn't do that one. Yeah.
But I mean, right now on TikTok, you're doing really good theater.
Yeah.
The Lazy Girl series.
I know, that was so funny. I like don't know how that like became a thing.
How did that even start? Like,
oh my gosh, I basically like it's so ironic because like I really can't cook, and like I think it's like slowly becoming apparent now because I'm like trying new things. But I told my cousin and I was like, oh, like I just learned how to make dal, and she was like, you have to teach me, like I don't know how to do it. I was like, oh, don't worry, like I'll make a video about it, like a lazy girl video or like lazy girl dal. And so I did that, and then it like just blew up.
Was that the first Lazy Girl video?
Yeah, it was so funny.
Because most of your content is like music content, right?
It's like all music content. And then now it's like food content with like music. So it's like, I'm just like, this is just fun. And a funny way to meet or like talk to people.
Yeah. Well, it's fun. It's entertaining alongside with your music as well, which is just as entertaining, if not more, of course. And so you kept going with that.
Yeah, like, I just ran with it. I was like, oh shit, what else do I know how to make? And so I made like a few things, and then I was like, okay, I'm like definitely not a cook. Like I'm a musician, guys. Like I'm not gonna like do a good job.
Forever. Did that happen? Did that help your account a lot?
Oh yeah, like totally. Yeah, like blew up after that.
What's your relationship with TikTok? Because I know a lot of artists struggle with it sometimes. It's a hard platform to be on.
Yeah, it's like always like I've always had like a love-hate relationship with TikTok.
Yeah, same.
I mean, you have like the moments where you're like, ugh, I don't want to make like a stupid video. I want to make music. And I think like all artists like go through that. But kind of when you break through that, I think it's like it actually can be really fun. At least right now I'm having fun with it. But if you asked me like 6 months ago, I'd have been like, why?
When it hits, you're like, wow, this is great.
I know. And now it's like, oh my God, like people are like in my live, like before it was like 4 people, and now there's like way more than 4. So I'm like, all right, hello.
Have you like, because I know for a lot of us, like we're the algorithm knows that somehow we're all in music.
I know.
And we're around. Like, have you been tapping in and like I guess the community is building for us in a weird way?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. It's just funny because like I've been in LA for 6 years now, and I've been in like the music community here for so long, and to see like I was playing shows in like New York and stuff with all these other completely different artists. And then now like through TikTok, there's so many other ones that have popped up. So it's kind of cool to have been in both worlds and like still be in both worlds, I guess, like the real life and then like the internet life.
Yeah. Oh, it's like superpower. And that's like your type of music too. You really do make like something that's great for acoustic and live. Is that something you prefer doing, or do you like being at home and making the music and letting it do its thing?
I definitely love playing live. So in LA, I basically play a gig like once a month, like at least, like I would say like the past since COVID, like since everything started opening up, I've been playing like once a month, just because like I don't know, like this last show I did, this one girl was singing back the song, like I have a song, Summer of 99, and she was literally singing the words. It was only one person, but like,
that's awesome.
It was like, it's such a cool feeling. Like you don't really get that just being online, you know?
You make great heartbreak music. And I wonder, do those songs come from real heartbreak?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like definitely. So my main focus as an artist was to be a writer first. I genuinely think like anybody can be a singer. Like most people, if they really want to do something, they can. Like, so I always loved singing, and like I kind of just knew I was always going to be a singer. But writing is what the craft is for me personally. So and that's like the hard part for me. Yeah. So I definitely wanted to focus on like feeling like I was working towards something, and like writing is something that is like my hard work in music. So yeah, it's definitely like life stories kind of thing.
Oh, you're a storyteller in your music. Like I believe it's called Stumble Home, correct?
Yeah.
I was listening down the way here. I was like, oh man, like
thanks.
Like what was the inspiration behind that song?
So actually I went to a session with one of my producers, Scott, and I don't know, I just had this idea of like sometimes like songs that I write, I'll just go into the room and like start playing chords, and it'll kind of come out as like mumbles, and then through the mumbles you pick the words that you just kind of let go and say, because you kind of go into like, it's weird to describe, but if you write you would know. It's like you go into like this trance where it's like the words aren't even yours anymore, it's just like pouring out of you, and then you kind of like pick those words and like write around it. But yeah, it just kind of like all flowed out pretty easily.
And is that how you typically write?
Yeah, I would say so. I think like before COVID, I was writing to a lot of beats and stuff. Like I would get sent beats like during the pandemic, and it was cool to like write over them. But I'm a guitar player first, so I definitely loved like writing on guitar and kind of like having that freedom of like picking where the song goes next.
Yeah. There's some country elements to it. Sometimes more pop. Where do you like see yourself music?
Honestly, it's like just dependent on who's in the room with me, like the producer in the room. But I try and keep it really authentic. I like love so many different types of music, so I try not to like when I'm in the room making it, if it's like going in a certain direction, like just naturally for the song that I wrote and like the best way to like make that song come to life. I try not to like really be like, no, it's like to this, like let's move it this way. And then like, you know, it's like, I don't know, it's like such a art of like creating a song that I try not to like be so thingy with it. So sometimes it's like a little country. Sometimes it's like really R&B. Sometimes it's just straight acoustic where like anything we add just sounds so bad and like takes away from the lyrics. So we just like leave it at that. So I kind of just like let it do its thing.
Is there one you like to lean towards more, or do you like being all around?
I wouldn't say so. Like one particularly. I think I kind of have like different moods. I think it just depends on the type of music I listen to at that time. So I just like let it happen really.
Who are your biggest influences?
So many. I always say this, but like my favorite artist of all time is Amy Winehouse, because like
makes sense.
I'm like a serial YouTuber where I'm just like, if I love an artist, I'll like watch every interview of them till like I'm done with them, and then I'll move on to the next. And I did that like as like homework for like writing because I just kind of like watched every interview I could, being like, how did they write a song and like what was their process? But yeah, definitely Amy Winehouse. I love like Dolly Parton, Snow Allegra.
Yeah.
Like a lot of like the women in music are just like really inspiring to me.
Yeah. Amy Winehouse, have a core memory of like her doing the Michael Jackson song with someone on stage. You remember?
Yeah.
I was like 8 years old. I was like, who is this person? This is crazy.
I know. I have a core memory of like hearing Rehab for the first time.
Yeah.
And like being like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing. And I was like probably 8 too. And I was just like, I didn't even know what I was singing about, but it was so good.
Yeah.
So I'm a fan.
Did you go to school for music too?
I didn't. No,
Okay.
I didn't.
And so what did you go to school for originally?
I went to school for business marketing, just because that was kind of like the deal I had with my parents was like getting a degree and then like, okay, do what you want to do.
What was that like, telling your parents, hey, I want to be a creative instead?
I'm like super blessed. I feel that they are so supportive. But it's definitely like, I think I was lucky enough to be now of the time where it's more accepted. I think if it was like 10, 15 years ago, it would have been like not even an option.
Yeah.
So they're definitely like happy with what I'm doing now.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So no complaints.
That's
but
awesome.
it took a minute to get there.
Yeah, of course.
Sure.
Of course it does.
I had to like prove myself, which is good because it like made me work harder to be like, you know, like I can actually do this. Like it could be a thing. And it is, so it's cool.
Do they like keep tabs on it? Like
oh my God, my mom's obsessed with like everything I do. Yeah, she's so funny.
Really?
Yeah, she's the best.
Like does she like talk to you about it or like send you stuff?
She's like the first person to comment on like all my TikToks. She'll
awesome.
like count my followers and be like, oh my God, you got like another 0.1 followers. And I'm like, wow. Like, what are you doing? Like, you have a job.
Yeah.
But like,
you know,
that is her job too.
Yeah.
So she's like, yeah, she's a good mom for sure.
And she comes out to the shows too?
She's in the Bay, so she hasn't come actually to any shows, which is so okay. Because like, I think it would be cool if when I have like a big show and then like my parents are there. Like the little shows are cool for me because it's like me and you know the people that come. But yeah, it would be cool to like bring them to like, look at this, you know?
So do you have like a team around you or do you do everything by yourself?
I have nobody, like literally no one. Yeah. I mean, I've had like managers before, but it's like hard to get someone to believe in something so early.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people not like jump on the bandwagon, but of course, like if something is taking off, then it's easier for them to like be like, oh, like, let me ride this with you instead of being like, let me take this from nothing because I believe in it so much and like build it into something.
Gotcha.
And I haven't really like found that passion yet. So I'm like really particular. Like if you're going to be with me, like I'm going to talk to you. I don't want to waste my energy like chasing you for something, you know?
You want a friend first. Right?
Yeah, totally. And like, a lot of times it ends up being really transactional or like, so I've just been like, you know, it's fine. And honestly, it was really sad. Like, it's almost like breakups in a way when you like stop working with someone. But it really like made me grow as an artist and be like, oh no, like I can actually be my own manager too, you know? So like, makes you like grow up a little for sure.
Oh, and you know how to edit too, right? On Premiere, I saw like a clip once. I was like, oh, yo, she knows how to edit and film.
I don't know how. I think like growing up, my best friend and I, we would make like these stupid videos on like iMovie and we would like edit it ourselves. And like, I don't think they really altered the program that much to like Final Cut. So yeah.
Was
like,
music your first medium or did you do anything else before that?
No, definitely music. And then like painting and stuff. I paint a lot as well.
Wow. And so what was your like home like when you're like learning to make music and getting in that? Like, was there any influences from there?
Like at like home?
Yeah, like home.
A lot of it was my grandma, because she is a singer as well, and she's the one who like at the sangeets and stuff. She's like the one on the dholki, like getting the party started. Yeah, she's so epic, and she's like such like the life of the party. And she taught my sister and I like how to play dholki and how to like actually sing. Yeah. And yeah, that definitely influenced me.
Because you have really unique voices.
Thanks.
Is that generational, or did you just have a unique voice?
I don't know. I mean, she has a very unique voice. My sister sings really, really well too.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, she sings great. So I don't know. I don't know
Gotcha.
where it came from,
That's
but
awesome.
that is my voice.
And what do you think is like next for you?
I have no idea. I've been like trying to do this thing where I'm like law of detachment, where I'm like, you know,
you're doing
it's happening. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So I think for so many years I was like overly like, oh my God, what is going on? What am I doing? And now I'm just like, I'm just gonna let things go the way that they have to go. It's very LA of me, but that's how it is.
That's awesome. And how did like the internet change everything for you, or did it change everything for you?
Oh yeah, like I don't know how people did it before. That's like everyone that I've met, everyone in music that I know, I basically met through like IG or TikTok now too. Yeah, so it really changed the game.
What was the first like music platform you were on? Was it like SoundCloud and stuff like that? Were you on like SoundCloud in the beginning?
I did post on SoundCloud, and like it wasn't like a thing. Like my SoundCloud is like so slacking, but I think just like Instagram was like my first big thing, and YouTube and stuff.
Yeah.
I would post like YouTube was the first one before like IG and stuff. I would post like a lot of covers on YouTube.
Oh, wow.
Like old ones, and then I started posting like on IG, and then now TikTok, and so it's like a never-ending cycle. But
and you made like your first like legit music video recently, right? Or semi-recently?
Yeah. I've done like a few music videos, but like the first real one where it was like there was a director and like a producer. But they're like my friends, or they're my friends now. It was pretty cool. They just like came to one of my shows and was like, we want to do a video for you.
Yeah.
Like, okay, let's do it.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool.
What was that experience like? Is there anything like you remember specifically about it?
It was so wild. It was like, I mean, I had to like pick actors for it, and like that was a weird experience, but I loved the people that ended up doing it. It was definitely new to have like all these like lights and like the camera where it's like on your back and they're like following you around. It was cool.
And you must be like, yo, look at me, I'm on screen.
I know, I wasn't mad about it. It was cool.
So is this like a friend that was like, hey, I want to shoot this for you? And you're like, okay, cool.
Yeah, it was like two people I never met. And
really?
They literally just showed up to my show, and they like were like, hey, like we came here to tell you this, and now like they're my closest friends in LA. So,
wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
And when did you meet them?
Like 4 months ago, maybe.
Holy crap.
4 or 5 months ago.
And so that must have been like a really cool moment for you, where like, hey, you're at my show, I don't know you.
Oh yeah.
You want to shoot my video?
Of course. That was so cool. I'm just happy it happened. Like a lot of people say stuff, and they were actually like super following through about it. So that was cool.
Does that happen often here?
Yeah, totally. Yeah. They're like, oh, let's do this, and then you're like, never see them again.
Gotcha. What's like your favorite thing though about being here, and what's your least favorite thing
about LA?
Yeah.
I think my favorite thing is like feeling very free here. Like a lot of people don't. There's such a stigma around LA that a lot of people are like super judgmental, but I think it's like the one place where you can literally be who you want to be, and like you'll find so many people like-minded as you are, or in the same like same thought process and stuff. So I just love that like I get to be have the freedom that this is like who I want to be, and this is a place I get to be that, you know.
Being yourself is a currency.
Exactly. For sure. Yeah. And not that I don't feel that in other places, but I think it's just different. So I think a lot of like art is really valued here, and it's looked at differently than other places.
Definitely.
And people know how hard it can be, and how like fun it can be. So people here, I just feel like want to have a good time.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love that. I don't know what I hate.
That's a good thing.
I know. I think it is a good thing. I'm going to stick with that. But I don't hate anything. Good. I don't want to think that.
What's like your fashion influences?
I have no idea. I love Zoe Kravitz. She's like one. I don't know. Just like there's like so much stuff bombarded on the internet that I think I just absorb all of it. And I'm like, this is who I am today.
So you like being a chameleon? Like one day, like you want to be dressed all black. One day you want to be colorful.
I mean, I definitely like more leaning towards black, and then I'll have like all black, but then I'll have like a pop of like blue. But like definitely black is like my vibe.
Gotcha. And do you like curate it like very focused, like, or you're like, I like it, I get it?
No, I like it, I get it, and then I'm like end up with all these random things that I have to like figure out how to put together. But that's the fun part, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, your jewelry, you have a bunch of it. Do they mean anything?
I mean, this is like a little Hamza necklace that my friend actually makes, and she sent it to me. Her company is So Fetch. A lot of it's like gifted, but yeah, it's just a bunch of. I have like an evil eye bracelet that I always wear. I have like I've gone through so many evil eye bracelets. They always break, which is really bad. It means that there's a lot of Nazar, but it's okay.
A lot of Nazar. So. How do you feel about Nazar? Do you believe it's real?
Oh yeah, dude.
Really?
I believe it's so real. I've like my nanny does like the red chili thing.
Really?
You burn like the dried red chilies and like you stand up and then someone like goes around you in like a circle.
Yeah.
Like from head to toe and basically like I don't know, some like
I don't know.
shit.
I don't know how I feel about it. I'm
just standing there like do it.
I remember like someone telling me like there's like family gossip or something and they're like, whoa, his aunt cursed him. I'm like, cursed him? I'm like, they're like, yeah, they did. I think it was Nazar. Like they Nazared him. I'm like, what? How do they do that? Like we don't know how they do it, but they know how to do it. I'm like, oh, who's they? And how do they know?
No booty. But
I don't know. Do you know how people do it?
Oh no, I don't know.
But isn't that the thing though? Isn't that like fear mongering away? It's just like it's very scary, but we can't talk about it.
There's also this one thing. So I think in Persian culture, there's like if a lot of glasses break, like if you break a lot of glasses, that means that some like the Nazar or like the evil eye is like coming to you, but it's like being deflected onto this glass and it like breaks the glass. And I like was living with somebody and like I broke like 10 glasses in like that 1 year. And after that, I never broke a glass again. So it was like, and it was like such a toxic thing.
Told that like, tell me if you heard this too, is like, don't look too attractive. Or like you'll get, I think Nazar or something too, like you'll get bad like blessings on you if you like.
That's so weird.
I'm like, I work so hard to like.
Look at me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so attractive.
Like, not me, but.
I can't help it.
But I'm saying
don't
like.
do that.
We try really hard to put ourselves together and like do whatever you need to do. And they're like, no, the demons will get you. I'm like.
Yeah. I know. They put like the gajal on like kids and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Can you explain that?
I think it's just they take like the like black gajal, like the eyeliner pencil and stuff, and they put it behind like their ears. Sometimes they'll put it like, I don't know, like on their head somewhere.
Yeah, isn't it? Because if the baby's too pretty, you have to make it ugly or something.
Is that what it is?
That's what I was told.
That's so deep.
Because I had one.
I love gajal though. I'm about it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
How much did like your heritage like influence you and stuff like that? How close were you to your heritage?
Pretty close. Like all of my best friends are all Indian or Pakistani, or Bengali too, and like, yeah, I'm like pretty cultured. I also like I'm very aware that there's like almost two worlds that I come from.
Yeah. That
we all come from. And I think like any cultured kid can relate to that. But yeah, it's kind of like nice that way.
Yeah.
Like, we can kind of fit in both. And we have
I've been told, well, like the way I see it, I think it's beautiful, but I think we're just us, right? We are both of each and like.
And then there's like the community where it's like the kids who grew up here. Like there's like the Indian community, then there's like the American community, and then there's like the Indian American community.
Yeah.
It's like almost three.
There is three.
Or like the South Asian America community, you know? Like there's so many of us.
Well, it's just such a shared experience, right? We all came here, or families came here in the 80s and 90s, some earlier than that, but mostly, right? And so I think a lot of us were born in like the early and late 90s.
Yeah, totally.
And so now that we're all coming up together and like,
I know, it's so exciting.
It's fun.
It's like cool to see us all doing our things and assimilating.
You know what? I think it's better than assimilating, we're integrating, right?
Yeah, totally.
And I think...
Yeah, that's the right word.
Right?
Integrating, yeah.
Because I think our generation at least, like, we're saying we're here. We really don't care. Like,
yeah.
And that's why I love music like yours, because it doesn't have to be like, you know, so in your face, like, hey, I'm Desi. Because there's no monolith anymore for what makes a South Asian artist. You can make any type of music you want. And if you want to add a tabla or something, go ahead. If not, it's cool.
Totally.
And I don't think that would happen in a generation before that.
Oh no, like it really was. It's so sad for the generation before us, you know, like at least like the older. I know like some people who came here way before and are older than me who like wanted to go in the arts and like they didn't get that chance, but like somehow it's our time to like break through and.
Well, I think it's in a way it's a little bit of bravery, right? I think the older generation they came here and the shame was put on them, like
and like the pressure was put on them, and like they just didn't. It wasn't even a thought that could be, but now it's like
we have like the younger sibling syndrome. Like, all right, haha.
I do for sure.
But it's awesome. And I think there's like this next wave coming, and I think
you can see it happening.
I think it's important to have such a diverse range of music because I think it's starting to prove to everyone like we're not just one thing.
Oh yeah, and it's cool like. The wave that I've seen, like everybody's also so different. I don't think anyone is like doing the same kind of music, which is so cool because we're coming at like, you know, from like all angles. There's like hip hop people, there's acoustic people, and like indie people, R&B people, and we're all just like doing it.
But the beauty about it is despite the genres being different, like we're tied together by like a shared heritage and the fact that I think it does take a certain sense of bravery. So when we see all these artists together from this diaspora, right? There's like a special bondness right away.
I know. I love it. It's like so immediate. It's the best.
And growing up, like, were you one of the only like diaspora artists? Like,
literally the only one.
What was that like?
It was wild. Yeah. I mean, I got a lot of like when I would go meet someone, I'd be like, "Hey, like, what are you up to?" And they're like, not as much as you've been up to, you know? And I'm like, okay. But yeah, like it was definitely I just remember like going to like my friends or my parents' friends' parties that we all did, you know, like an uncle auntie party and like telling people that I was like moving to LA and them being like, what are you gonna do there? Like I'm gonna be a musician. And they're like, okay.
Was that hard
like,
for you?
Do your parents know? I'm like, of course they know. Like it really like messed with me in the beginning, and then they kind of started seeing that I wasn't kidding around and that I was really doing it, you know, to say the least. And it's like almost funny now.
Yeah.
Like, that was a good time. Remember that thing you told me, Uncle?
Yeah.
Well, take it back.
Yeah, fuck you, I did it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's good.
But that's what it takes, right? To be like steadfast at first in your belief.
I think like if you genuinely don't think that like you're gonna make it, if however you define that, then like there's no reason to go through this lifestyle because it's like really difficult. Like I've had like some really low points, but I have never had the feeling of giving up because I just knew that this is just that I have to go through like the shit to get where I want to go. Yeah. It's just part of the journey. And like, it took me, of course, time to realize that. But now I feel like I'm on that side of it, which is really nice. And I would not recommend it if like you're not 100%.
Yeah.
Because it does like break you in a million pieces and you have to like slowly put yourself back together and then break again.
Well, so what are the moments that make you want to put it back together?
Just like... I don't know, the love for it. I mean, I genuinely have no plan B. Like, this is what I always knew I was going to do. And, like, it's the only thing I'm really good at, that I think at least. And I just always knew that this is going to be my journey, is to make music and write songs for not just me, but for, like, people that listen to them, you know? So, yeah, I love it.
When did you feel like you were like, you made good music and you could put it out and this will be my career?
I think like right before the pandemic or like 2018, I would say 2017, 2018, I was working like at this one studio and I went there every single day. Like from literally, I would wake up at like, I don't know, like 2 p.m. and like they just didn't start in the morning. They would start at like 2 p.m. and we would go from like whatever time till like 5, 6 in the morning. And that whole time, it was insane. It was actually wild. Like, I was living in downtown LA, coming back at like 4 a.m. Like, I was living on my cousin's couch. Like, it was so wild. But yeah, it was like, it's definitely, that was when I really felt like I did the work. Like, I put in like the development part of my craft in that like year and a half, 2 years that I did that almost every day. I didn't see like anybody. I made 0 friends. I like just worked at this place making music every day.
And you paid your dues pretty much.
Exactly. Yeah. I feel like that was when I really paid my dues. And of course, like today, like a bad song will always come out here and there, but you have to like write a billion bad songs to like start writing good ones. And so I feel like I just wrote a billion bad songs in like that like 2 years that now it's like, all right, here are the good ones.
So you got to that point, but then you go into COVID, right?
Yeah, dude.
So how did that change things up for you?
It kind of like, so that experience, what I was just talking about was me and a producer, maybe another guitar player, the 3 of us. I worked really closely with 2 people at the time. And like he would make the beat while like I'm writing the song, like the lyrics, and the guitar player is playing the chords. And that was like kind of the process of like starting from nothing and building around like just what I felt in that moment. But going into COVID, it was like, I was like YouTubing, like YouTube beats, just like beat stars, like, and like just trying to write. And like, so I had this one song, Payday, that I released during COVID. And that was like, I found this beat on YouTube and like, I liked the song. And so I messaged the guy and was like, can I buy your beat and like just release this? Cause I was like, just wanted to put out something. Yeah. So I did that. But now it's like back to normal where it's like, and I also wrote a lot on guitar, like alone in my room and stuff.
Was it ever like a scary moment for you career-wise? Like, well, now what do I do? Because I'm putting all my eggs in this basket.
No, I think I've had like scarier moments than that. But yeah, I think it was just like, I think during COVID, a lot of people either like didn't work at all and kind of just like coasted. And then there were the people who were like overly working. And I was definitely one of the overly working people that like I was in my room. I went and stayed at my parents' place. I like gave up my apartment here. And I moved back to the Bay for like a year and a half or like a year and a half really. So I was like living at home again, like in my like I had like SpongeBob sheets on my bed, like and like on my like school like little desk, just writing.
But in that moment, it's an opportunity for you, right? It's like it's go time. I don't have to work. Like everything shut down.
It was like of course, it was like a horrible time, but there's definitely you have to find blessings or like the positive in any negative time, And so, that was definitely one of them is like, I got that comfort because, I mean, I was kind of forced to have that comfort. So, that was good, I guess.
And you said you had scarier times.
Yeah.
Do you mind jumping into it?
I mean, it wasn't like so, it was just like very low times of like, I don't know. There's just moments where you're like, what am I doing? You know, and like, is this really my life? I had that a lot in that like year and a half that I was working at that studio. And like, I would come home and I just remember like having in the car, like in the parking lot at like 4 a.m. in downtown LA, which is like not advisable at all to do. I would sit in my car and like have the mirror down and like look into my eyes and be like, what the hell are you doing? Like, what is your life right now? Like, are you like, what are you doing? You need to figure out like to make this work,
Yeah.
That was like not a fun time, but it's like the dues. You gotta pay the dues.
Yeah. And is that
definitely paid them with interest?
Yeah. And is that something that you're going through because you're grinding, or did you also like struggle with like having to balance like mental health stuff and also do music? Or is music just kind of like that was just a process of getting
I think it like kind of goes hand in hand. If you're not in the place that you feel like you should be, it always takes a toll on you mentally. And I think like just being like South Asian and stuff, there's like a separate level of pressure that we kind of get. That like, oh, well, this auntie's kid is doing so well. And like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'll be fine. Like, just give me like some time. It's like a very like immediate thing. And yeah, I definitely got that pressure from.
But I think what you do is so important. Like being you, just existing is so important because I think when that kid sees you on screen, like, oh my gosh, I can do it too. And like one, the music quality is there, but two, just happening to be South Asian as well.
Yeah, it's like it's a difference. Sure.
And like growing up, did you have any of that like to look up to?
I don't think any of us really had that. And it's like so important for me to try and be that for someone else. Like that's really like I genuinely feel that like I want to be that for people. And I know like I can be.
Yeah.
And because I didn't have that. Like a lot of us didn't have that. So, and it's nice. Like I think like in the acting world, a lot of people are coming up, like Riz Ahmed, like
of course.
Obviously he's great, and like all of the other people, like Priyank Chopra, like everybody's there. But in music, there isn't really like there's been a few here and there, but it isn't like one person where it's like or like a few main people, you know?
They're like breakouts, but we didn't really know until after the fact.
Yeah,
right?
It's wild. So I think now is like a really cool time because there's like a bunch of us that are doing it.
Well, the timing is right, and people are becoming privy to our faces through all those people you mentioned.
Yeah.
And now it's about time people get privy to our voices, you know? And it's just a matter of timing, and I think for us specifically, the timing is perfect right now. It's I know,
it's crazy.
It's coming all at once, you know? Bridgerton, Never Have I Ever.
Yeah.
Like I said.
I know, it's so exciting.
Yeah. And you see Guy, you know, like.
I know. What? Guy, bro.
and they're paying an arm and a leg for it. And we're like, I just went down, you know, like.
I know. It's so funny.
And so I think people are starting to realize how big our market is. There's millions of us.
I know. There's so many.
And so people are starting to realize that, like, we're waiting. We're just waiting. All the audiences are waiting for it. And you're just pretty much here to deliver it. And I think people really appreciate that about you.
And I think it's like at least important for me to make sure it's not like gimmicky either.
Of course.
I've had like a lot of like label meetings where it's like, oh, well, if you know, play on this a bit more, like you can capture this audience. And like not even just to say like labels are, you know, thinking about this. Like a lot of people think that.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think I also like a few years ago, like the people weren't ready for a brown artist to not make Bollywood music.
Exactly.
And now it's like we can make anything and we have like people who are going to listen.
Well, yeah. I mean, because typically people in the music industry on the executive side or label side, there's not that many brown people, right?
There's, like I think there's like a handful and like.
Yeah. And so that means when like these people see you and want to give you a meeting, they're like, hey, can you act like this? And you're like, no, that's not me.
Yeah.
Right. And it's really important to like kind of stay true to that because I think we've seen some artists that, you know, lean into it in a way that's not as tasteful as it could be. And
then they get like so much hate from like their actual community, which is like, what? Like that's so counterintuitive. Exactly. Like you're supposed to be bringing up your community. So
it's a caricature of who we could be.
No, actually though. And then I've got it also from like the brown side of like that, like older generations being like, oh, well, you should make like dance music, like make Bollywood music. And I'm like, what? Like I love dance music and maybe I will one day, but like that's not what I'm making now. Like it's okay, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like I've gotten it from both. And I'm like,
do your thing.
Just, you know, just wait. Just watch. It'll be okay.
But that's what's important. It's really important to kind of hold that down because
you have to. Like, who's gonna believe in you if you don't believe in yourself first? So.
Yeah. Were you turned off by meetings like that? Like when you get in those meetings and they tell you those types of things.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's almost like funny.
Yeah.
Like, okay. And then you're like, bye, see you never.
Is it like as soon as they said something like that, you like immediately check out and you just wait for it to be over?
Yeah. Like I am like so not interested in just like signing something for the sake of doing it. Like I'm like, and the same with my team. Like that's why I don't like have anyone right now, and I'm just like doing it on my own is because I'm like super particular of like who I want to spend my time with, like and my energy on. You know?
Yeah,
it's important.
And like you said earlier, like I've been in those breakups before, right? Those management breakups.
Yeah, so deep.
so deep.
But like, yeah, I mean, no, like, no bad blood at all. It's just very calm.
Gotcha.
Like, and I'm like friends with all of my old managers. Like I could text any of them, and just be like, how are you? And
Yeah.
it would be completely fine. Because I'm also like not that kind of person to be like
exactly. Well, speaking of breakups, have any of your songs in particular been inspired by a breakup? And can you tell us a story about it, please? If not, cool.
A lot of my songs were inspired by like long distance, which is like a million breakups in one. If anyone has ever done long distance, they get it. So yeah, that inspired a lot of my sad era of music.
And so, what was that experience like for you, long distance?
Yeah, it was like not great.
Yeah, definitely not.
But it's fine. I mean, I think like it was important for that time. It kind of like helped me grow up in my own way, instead of like being so attached at such a young age. So yeah, it was good. Yeah. But I mean, as good as it can be. I got a lot of good sad songs out of it. Yeah. And so I'll keep that for sure.
I think as an artist, that's the one pro of breakups. It's like at least I get something out of it.
I know. Actually, though, you have to. Otherwise, it's wasted sadness for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you have any songs in particular that like you think about?
I think my one song, Call Me, is like very on the nose. And also like All Right, which is the first song I ever put out. That was like a very true, like I was so upset in the studio like that day. It was like one of those stories, and it just like I think I wrote it in like 10 minutes. Like it was just like so quick. Because like that is how I felt in that exact moment. A lot of the times like you'll write songs about like past experiences, trying to like relive those to write it. But that one was like, oh, I'm like going through this right now. Like, and that one and Call Me were definitely that. So yeah.
So do you typically live process with music, or do you kind of reflect and then write typically?
I think it just depends. I think sometimes I process it without even realizing I'm processing it because I'm writing about it. If that makes sense. Like it's almost like a way to be like, oh, that's how I feel.
Yeah.
You know? I didn't know that about me, but like I guess that's what I'm going through right now. Yeah, so it's like a lot of live processing, I guess. That's a really good way to put it.
So when you listen back to your music, is it like a time machine for you?
Totally. Yeah. I mean, I remember every like emotion I felt writing it and like what I was going through. But it's like so cool that that's what it can be, you know? It's like when you have like a song and you have a memory attached to it. Yeah. And, like every time you hear it, like takes you back. Yeah, it's like totally the same when you write the song yourself.
Yeah. Is it cathartic too?
Yeah, I mean, I like get really anxious and like depressed if I don't write. After like a few days, if I'm like not actively creating something, like I get so upset and I'm like, okay, like either I need to like go to the gym or like pick up my guitar and like write something and create something or like paint something. Like I just have to do something.
Does that work ethic come naturally?
Yeah, it's really weird because like I was not like that in school or like doing anything else. I like have like such a goldfish attention span, but when I'm writing or like painting or something, I'm like in it for hours and I don't even realize, like I don't check my phone, I don't do anything. Like I get annoyed when people text me like while I'm doing it, you know? I think that's like a sign of like you're doing what you're supposed to do, you know?
Exactly. You're passionate about it and you're engaged.
Totally.
Were you a bad student?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was. I mean, I was like a very average student. I did like not do well in accounting. I'll never forget that. I wrote songs in my accounting class.
Wow.
Literally. Yeah, and like in the hallways, I would like there was one hallway in my school which was like a stairwell, and like I would sing in between classes there for like 30 minutes and like hope no one comes in, and then the door would open and I would like just walk past them and then I would like stay there and like sing because it was like so pretty in there. Wow. Yeah, like I was not meant to be in school. Definitely supposed to be an artist through and through for sure.
What was your experience like when you were younger in school?
I went to like a really intense academically focused school growing up. Which is like, if anybody went to my school in the Bay, they would probably know what I mean. But yeah, it was like so focused on academic that if you weren't good at that, then you were horrible in life. It was like one of those. And yeah, so it like took me a while to like heal from that.
So you have trauma from like that type of
like,
school.
Yeah. I had like trauma where I like didn't believe in myself a lot. But
I heard that's a thing in the Bay. That like the schools are ultra competitive in like the high school
and like
level.
some people thrive in it. I just wasn't one of those people. And like, you know, I think like each kid is so different. And that's why they really say like, you know, have an individualized type of situation, I guess. But it's fine. I mean, it obviously could have been way worse. Like I was blessed to like go like through that, I guess, in a weird way.
And so you've had seeds of music all throughout your life.
Yeah.
And it was planted by your grandmother. Correct?
I would say so, yeah. Even like my dad's mom used to sing as well. So it was like both, like my mom's mom sings and my dad's mom also sang. So it was almost like both sides. My parents can't sing at all.
Really?
Skipped their gen.
Well, this sounds like a movie when you're like, yep, I was in the hallway, the lighting was there, and I was singing. It sounds like a movie. You're like...
yeah, I guess it's just the movie of my life, really.
Yeah. Do you ever feel that way? Like, do you ever have moments where like, oh, I'm the main character?
Oh, I mean, you have to.
Yeah.
Like, TikTok will definitely remind you to, like, remember you're the main character when you scroll. But, yeah, you have to. You have to, like, romanticize your life. I genuinely believe that. I think, like, your thoughts are super powerful. And you can really shape your reality if you truly have no fear in it.
How do you, like, manage your self-image in that way, right? Like, being confident, but also being sensitive when you need to be. Is that something you have to actively think about?
I mean, what do you mean? Sorry.
Like, you know how sometimes you just have to be overly confident about yourself?
Oh, like that.
Yeah.
No, I'm like, my dad has humbled my sister and I to like the T.
Really?
Yeah. Like,
classic
he will humble us to like, you think you're the shit? Nope.
He's got jokes.
Yeah, he's like, it really cuts deep sometimes, but like in the best way. So like, yeah, I definitely am not the one to be like, hey, like, listen to this. Like, this is the greatest thing ever. It's my song. That will not be me. I'm the one that's like, yeah, I make music too. You know, like in the corner, like even if they ask, that's always been my personality. So I've never, I know for a fact I don't come like off overly confident because like I'm not that way. Yeah.
Well, your music is really good. And it's something worth being confident about.
No, that's really sweet. Thanks. And I'm glad you like it.
I do. And that being said, do you have anything to say to everybody before?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to be putting out another project, hopefully starting the end of August. The first one that I'm going to put out is probably going to be this song called Strangers at Heart. And make sure you check it out.
Awesome. This is Samica. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
So fun.
Sweet.
Bye.
Friday night in your apartment, lipstick on my